The live-action Lilo and Stitch remake is one of 2025's biggest movies, having grossed over $1 billion at the worldwide box office and making it the highest-grossing live-action animated hybrid in film history to date. But it wasn't an easy journey for Disney to get the movie made. Development on the live-action remake began in October 2018, when producers Dan Lin and Jonathan Eirich attached themselves to the project for Disney, with Mike Van Wees hired as the screenwriter. John M. Chu, director of Wicked and Crazy Rich Asians, was in talks to direct. But after 18 months of negotiations, it was announced that Dean Fleischerkamp, famous for directing the beloved A24 film Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, was hired as the director, with Chris Kakaniokalani Bright brought on as a writer to add more cultural aspects to the Hawaiian set story. But these crew changes weren't the only major changes or challenges that almost shut down production. Let's dive into some more problems that almost prevented the movie from being made. One of the first problems the production had was whether the casting team would cast AAPI actors to portray the Hawaiian characters from the original. Disney did a pretty good job with some of the casting, like casting newcomer Maya Kealoha as Lilo and bringing back original voice actors Tia Carrera and Amy Hill. Carrera originally voiced Nani in the animated media and portrayed Mrs. Kakoa, while Hill originally voiced Mrs. Hasagawa in the animated media and portrayed Tutu, which is a Hawaiian term commonly used to refer to grandparents. For the role of Nani, the casting team cast actress Sydney Agudong, a Hawaiian-born actress of white American and Filipino descent. When the first teaser trailer dropped in 2024, fans of the original 2002 animated film took to social media, pointing out that Agudong's skin tone is lighter than Nani's, who had darker skin in the animated film. They also pointed out that upon the announcement of her casting, images released made her skin look darker than her actual skin tone, sparking comments of colorism and whitewashing characters. One fan said, "The main reason why the Kanaka Maoli community is a little bit pissed is that we don't know if Sydney is Kanaka Maoli." A native Hawaiian filmmaker who didn't want to be named said that the industry still views Pacific Islanders as Asian, hence why several Asian actors get cast in Pacific Islander roles. Hollywood has historically excluded indigenous voices in movies, especially when it comes to Pacific Islander stories, says Randizia Crisostomo, a professor at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Disney never addressed the issue, though, and kept moving along with production. Agudong's casting as Nani wasn't the only controversy. When Disney announced the film's casting, it was revealed that actor Kahiao Machado was cast as David. However, a report later emerged that Machado had been quietly replaced with newcomer Kaipo Dudois after Machado's casting was met with online controversy. The internet found out that he had a Spotify account and other social media accounts that mentioned several racial slurs. As Disney looked further into the issue, they ultimately recast him as part of their full vetting process of the actors. As the entertainment industry undergoes a significant transformation, driven by the rise of streaming platforms and shifting audience habits, major studios are responding cautiously, opting for safer choices when it comes to talent and content. The original actor who voiced David in the animated media, Jason Scott Lee, was actually cast in a cameo role as Nani's boss. He even shared screen time with Dudois. "I get to see the kid who's playing my character that I voiced, and I'll get to see Lilo and I'll get to see Nani, the new people, the actors that are playing them," said Lee in an interview. Besides authentic casting, Disney also wanted authentic locations for the film and made the expensive choice to shoot on the Hawaiian Islands. The production team took it as their responsibility to honor the land and the community that made the movie possible at heart. Shooting over 46 days across the island of Oahu, the production teamed up with several Hawaiian organizations, including Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, Bottles for College, Full Circle Farms, and Aloha Harvest. Together, they were able to divert 80% of on-set waste from landfills and reuse it in the community. Several waste sorting stations across set locations were clearly marked with bins designated for recycling, compost, and trash, and the organizations provided on-site education to help the cast and the crew. Several of the food surpluses were donated to the food rescue nonprofit Aloha Harvest, which provided the equivalent of 2 years' worth of meals for one person. Bottles for College ensured that bottles and cans were not just recycled, but funds collected supported college scholarships for local students. 18,000 pounds of food scraps and compostable packaging were sent to Full Circle Farms to be transformed into nutrient-rich soil. All this was costly for the production, and at times threatened to shut down production due to rising costs. But ultimately, the producers persisted in their mission to protect and honor the land they were filming on. Casting and production costs weren't the only problems that affected the production. Just a month into filming, a fire broke out at the base camp in Honolulu, halting production. On Sunday, April 16, 2023, a trailer that was part of the base camp for the film caught on fire late into the night. The The Honolulu Fire Department said crews received a distress call just before 11 p.m. to tend to the set that was at the intersection of Kamehameha Highway and Cane Hall Road in Haleiwa. Thankfully, there were no injuries reported and no workers were on the scene. But several items in the trailer, including specialized costumes, were confirmed to have disintegrated in the fire. Preliminary police reports started an investigation into a possible case of arson related to the trailer fire. As of this behind-the-scenes video, the case has not been closed with a definite yes or no if arson was involved. But we do know that officials estimated more than $200,000 worth of damage. In order to shoot on Oahu, production sought out several filming permits for road closures. And some of those road closures meant closing down major Hawaiian highways. The Hawaiian Islands are not huge compared to other US states, and some of the islands are only half inhabitable thanks to unique mountain and natural terrains. There are already a limited number of state highways in each of the islands, so closing off one means major traffic for the state's populace. The Hawaii Department of Transportation, HDOT, notified Oahu motorists that the famous Kalania Noa Ole Highway would be closed in both directions on May 1st, 2023, from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., forcing motorists to detour through side streets that caused major backups. People were not too pleased with the closure, as it runs through major residential neighborhoods in the southeastern part of the island. With some criticizing and complaining to the government, there was a threat to shut down production. Luckily, nothing major happened, and instead we got several shots of the island's natural beauty. When a Hollywood production decides to shut down a local business and use it as a location for production, that business is well compensated for the loss it would have suffered, since there would be no business. Since this is a major state highway, the production does not have to pay anyone except for the government for filming and closure permits, as well as local police to secure and monitor the area, which can be less costly sometimes, depending on the closure. Of course, we can't talk about production problems without mentioning the historic Hollywood double strikes. The Lilo and Stitch Live-Action was in the middle of their production schedule when both the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild, aka SAG, went on strike at the same time with the major Hollywood studios. During the strikes, actors working on camera in film, television, and digital content were not allowed to act, sing, dance, perform stunts, pilot on-camera aircraft, work as a puppeteer, or participate in performance capture or motion capture work. This also included work as a background actor, stand-in, or photo body double. Off-camera work like ADR looping, creating trailers and promos, voice acting, narration, and stunt coordination were also prohibited. For writers, they were not allowed to make edits, changes, add, or remove dialogue on any script that was currently filming or that was in pre-production. Because of all this, the production for Lilo and Stitch was shut down in July 2023, but resumed in February 2024 when both strikes ended. Thanks for joining us behind the scenes. We hope you enjoyed getting a closer look at some production problems that almost prevented the live-action Lilo and Stitch from being made. If you like this kind of content, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next for Collider Behind the Scenes.